It is. Oh, that's nice. He's got to love that.
Hello and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy episode 341 for the week of January 23rd, 2018. That was a paper bag. My name is Ryan Higgins. Who else is here with me this week?
It was specifically a Chipotle paper bag, Brock Sager.
Valerie Vector. Bryce Larsen. Sorry.
What?
It's so confusing. Isn't it Valerie Vector?
I have no idea what that is.
Victor?
No, it's Vector.
What's your Vector, Victor?
Roger. I think that...
Rover, Scott.
And boring old Charlie.
And Toby's back here, Tobying it up, doing whatever Toby does.
Tobias.
Now, next week, we will not have a traditional episode of the Comic Conspiracy. I'm going to warn you all, we are doing whatever Toby is doing right now.
No.
What?
That was not the deal.
What do you mean that's not the deal?
That's not the deal.
So after we record this
Why don't you
episode,
come over here and explain what the deal is.
after we record this episode, Toby is recording something, another episode. I don't know what.
He called it a special, but it ain't sounding so special.
And that is going to be next week's episode.
He's been working for a month.
Yeah, our good friend Lane is going to be on here too. So I have no idea what this is.
No,
Wait, are we still recording next week?
No, I mean not if this is going up next week as the episode. I don't know what Toby's
Not the
weird.
deal.
We
That's not
should
the
still
What do you mean
record.
that's not
We should
the
still
deal?
record.
We should still record.
That was not the deal.
What do you-
Why are you smiling?
I'm not smiling. We were supposed to do this
You're
around
kind of
Christmas time,
smiling.
and this was
Yes.
going to be
A special on Christmas.
okay.
This is the Toby's
this-
Christmas special.
Yeah, it's about average for Toby's Christmas special to come out like early February. So
I'm actually too busy going, are we just going to save it for next year? Because after all the post-production and
Well,
all that.
Is this what we would consider?
Charlie, if you think he's going to have the video done by next year, you obviously have never met Toby.
All right,
Try
what
next.
do you mean? If I get it done by Tuesday.
Try next millennial. Okay, millennium.
something.
Okay.
Toby interrupting Ryan's hilarious punchline.
Yeah, he's going to receive some punches.
Oh.
I have no idea what Toby's going to do, so that's going to be the episode for next week. I have no idea. This is always the plan. I have no idea why Toby's now saying it's not the case.
No, it's
so.
not. That's why we're recording two things today.
It's a
Is
special.
to make sure that there's something to post, because I will take my Toby time.
Okay, so have a
we're
comic
recording
books.
this episode right now. We are then recording the audio for whatever Toby's doing, and that is going up as the podcast next Tuesday. I have no idea what Toby's talking about.
So this would be Toby Annual 1.
And so next Tuesday,
That's a great.
We'll probably be recording
That's a
it.
great.
so
plan.
next Tuesday,
normal episode.
when we just record a regular episode and post it, and we're like, we have no idea what the fuck Toby was talking about, and then so that long way to get to that. So
So Ryan, was 2 weeks ago the Comics Conspiracy 2-in-1 Annual number 1 with Bryce and Toby?
the one shot we
No,
called
no.
it.
That was-
That was like a
0.5.
0.5. That was like 0.5 quality. Okay, so
It was definitely
literal
0.5 quality. It wouldn't have had to be if you had given us more than an hour's notice that we weren't recording a fucking podcast.
So just don't record.
No. That's just not an option.
Not possible.
I had to get some feelings out there.
Okay.
I'm sure that there was feelings out there.
Well, let's get some feelings out right now. Why don't we talk about some stuff?
Strangers in the night.
Why don't we talk about? Well, this is something Toby wants to talk about, and he's
Exchanging
busy.
glances.
We're not going to talk about that. Let's talk about feelings. I got feelings. I got big feelings about this. Let's talk about
I don't want to know
Comic
about your big feelings.
Conspiracies 2018 Comic of the Year Doomsday Clock. Now switching to a bi-monthly schedule following a 2-month delay, putting issue number, don't autoplay Newsarama, I hate you, putting May 2018 as the expected release date for number 5, and then the remainder of the series will be released bi-monthly after that. Now, there was always a scheduled month skip after 4 and after 8. That was always the plan. So it was going to be 4 issues, month off, 4, month off. We're getting 2 months off between 4 and 5, and then there's going to be a month delay in between each issue, so going bi-monthly.
All I want to know is tell me when it's going to end.
I can tell you this.
Yeah, you have to math it.
Sort of.
May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February,
He's
March,
using his
April,
fingers.
May, July 2019. Is that right?
That's
Maybe.
It's going to end in the
ridiculous.
fucking summer of next year?
Maybe.
This is the stupidest
terrible.
shit.
May.
The only reason I'm saying maybe is Gary Frank's response to this was, hopefully after a few months of this and we get a little bit ahead again, we can switch back.
Yeah, July 2019. Yeah.
Everybody does like getting ahead. That's true.
That's terrible.
Yeah, I can do math. July 2019.
That was very good counting on your fingers.
At least they're giving us some heads up.
If they do it July 2019, that means boom, baby, right after Doomsday Clock summer event for DC. Great planning, Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. I agree 100%.
Okay, so other
You
than
nailed it.
the obvious sarcastic response, how are we supposed to please justify this? The two biggest DC apologists, please explain to me.
I mean, we'll call it pulling a Marvel. You know, I mean, that's just what we're going to call it.
To call it pulling a Marvel. Other than the fact that Doomsday Clock is supposed to have effects on the universe when it's done, it is completely and totally removed from anything that's going on in the books right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
2 issues in, it's completely removed. Is it going to remain completely removed?
They have not announced any tie-ins. They have said that they're not going to collect it till it's done. This was always the way they have sold it, is that it's self-contained.
And I think at the same time they have the event leading up to this, the whole Superman. What do they call it?
The Oz effect?
No, the Superman, like the Superman scenario, or what the hell? It's the whole thing they're talking about in the book where. They have the
conspiracy.
Yeah, I don't have the issue in front of me. I'm blanking what the heck they're calling it. Yeah. I mean, that is going to be, I'm assuming, like this year's DC event, rumored to be written by Tom King. So that's a rumor going around the last day or two that Tom King's writing the big DC event this year.
Okay, but I still am very confused.
No, it sucks. It sucks straight up. But I mean, why are they doing it? So they can have one creative team on the entire arc. And look at Dark Knight 3. How there was like 6 months between some of those issues. That's terrible. Gary Frank has never been a monthly artist, so I thought maybe he was just far enough ahead. But I guess not.
2 issues in, not the case.
Not quite.
Wow, he got really far in there.
So what is?
And 4 is still coming out.
Three's out.
Yeah.
3's on the wall.
Yeah,
1
through 4 are still monthly.
Yeah.
They were always going to take a break before 5.
Take a break.
Basically do the month off, and then 5, they're just...
I understood that reference.
Thank you. That makes one of you. Okay, no. That's fine. That's fine. I just, I was excited to see Rorschach engaging with Batman at the end of number 2, and I was excited for the whatever the fuck called characters enter the DC universe and have them playing around.
They are. I mean, that's they continue.
Why am I brain farting in the name Charlatan or something like that? Charlton.
Yeah.
The Charlton characters.
It's
engaging with the DC universe.
They're not Charlton characters, but
the spin-offs of them. What do you even call them?
It's the Watchmen characters.
So we wouldn't consider this an event book. It's just a mini series of some sort.
I did until apparently that's wrong to think.
It's a year and a half.
No, it's a straight up. I mean, it is a major comic, but when you say event, I think Crisis on Infinite Earths. I think Infinity Gauntlet. That's not this, right? I mean, this isn't like Metal. This isn't like Secret Empire. This is a 12-issue book. It's a big comic.
So it's not to introduce the quote-unquote Charlton, because I know they're not Charlton, characters into the DC universe. I thought that this was their segue into the DC universe so that they could start using those characters in the DC universe.
However this ends is supposed to impact the DC universe as a whole. So that could be some characters sticking around. That could be who knows what, really. But the bottom line is it does postpone any post-Doomsday Clock plans they had, but I also kind of feel like it wasn't going to be done for another 10 months anyways, so hopefully that doesn't throw too many wrenches in anything.
So now it just won't be done for 20 months, and it's not a big deal. I guess ultimately, it's a year late.
As long as it doesn't negatively impact the other stories, it basically means each book gets another trade worth of material.
Sure, but a year delay would normally impact stories, considering it's isn't it the second highest selling? Oh, no, wait. Let me see here. Batman, Detective, Batman 2, Batman 3, Batman 4. So it's probably like your 6th highest DC selling book, right?
It is
Doomsday Clock?
Yeah.
It is number 1 by a fucking mile.
More than Metal?
Way more than Metal.
It is, and it's
so
not.
Then why are you saying it's like not?
I said it sucked that it's delayed. What are you talking
and it's
about?
not a year.
Stop, Ryan.
And it's not.
We're not always talking to you.
And it's not a year late. It's 6 months late.
Yeah.
So far.
Okay.
Well, technically, because they already had the 2 breaks planned, it's 4 months late.
Yeah.
It's going to finish in the fucking summer of 2019, and it's only 4 months late.
Well, it normally would have
fucking weird.
finished.
February of 2019.
Yeah, it would have finished February of 2019.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
Okay. All right. I take back everything I said. It is right on time, and they've done nothing wrong. Good job, guys.
Except that's not what anyone said. I said it really sucks that it's getting delayed.
I know.
I wish
I'm
they had
exacerbating your guys
come on.
downplaying the fact that it's fucking crazy delayed.
I'll be the first one to admit I would love it if it was coming out every other week and would just be 6 months.
Yeah,
I would be. It feels forever between issues for me, and it's funny because it's a monthly book. That's how I'm used to getting my issues, but because of the way comics are released now, it feels like for fucking ever between issues.
I seriously was looking at, was it maybe Titans or Teen Titans coming out tomorrow? And I was like, what is wrong with this comic? Why has this book been so delayed? And then I was like, oh no, it's 1 month later. It just feels like forever now because I'm so used to these double shipping books from Marvel and DC. So when there's a monthly comic, it feels like freaking. Well, it's like this is the same problem with Metal, right?
Yeah.
People and me and Brock were kind of talking about this earlier. I was like, oh, there's delays, but there's not really because it's just monthly.
Well, since they were doing what 2 titles every.
But they were. There was like 2 a week.
There was like 2 a week for a solid period of time,
like
and then
6 a month or whatever. Like they were hauling ass on that.
And then we had this, like you said, this stop, this abrupt stop.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the thing is yes, it sucks that Doomsday Clock is delayed, but I like the fact that they're coming out and ahead of it and telling us in advance because that lets you as the retailer relay that information on and let them know far in advance that this, somebody's not going to come in May and go, where's my Doomsday Clock issue? And you're like, well.
And with books like this, I mean, Dark Knight 3 did not suffer any loss in sales due to the delays. I think if this
is that true?
Oh yeah, no, it still was a juggernaut. I think.
Wow, that is okay.
I think if Doomsday Clock was a crossover tied in with 12 other books, then yeah, you're going to start seeing people drop it with delays like this because they get tired of the whole event. But since it's kind of just this own thing that comes out, it's a little more immune to that. But it's
like
still
an event to me.
It's still frustrating. No,
seems like an event to me too.
The other thing about this,
we're just laymen.
I wish they had more in the can before they got started because it would have been nice to avoid these kind of issues. But the bottom line is I would rather they delay it than rush the art.
Yeah.
Like, I want this to be...
Forever Evil?
Yeah.
I want this to be...
That was delayed and had some rushed art, so...
God, David Finch, such a great artist. Yeah. So bad on those last issues.
But, like, for me, that's because... It's not like they're going to fix the art after they release the issue. Whatever goes into the issue is what's going to go into the trade and hardcover. And I would much rather have a nice, polished Gary Frank art in this book than start seeing the art suffer.
Yeah, this is your boy. This is your boy Mark Miller's rationale back in 2005 for Civil War. Only virgins get mad at comic delays. You're going to have a nice, sexy trade afterwards. Who cares? Who cares if the singles are delayed? That was his rationale.
I didn't hear that quote, but I will capitulate, Charlie. That is a great point. Not sure if I'll pick this up in trade, having collected the floppies, but I do.
Oh, just wait! It's going to be a beautiful hardcover, and you're going to stare at it.
Oh, yeah.
And
I do like this. You're getting me. I'm half stocked right now, Charlie. You got me. Well, you got me half.
19 months though. Or is it 20? Is it 20 months from start to finish?
They were pushing it to have November because it was tied into
20 months.
If you ask them to explain it, it's a leap year, so it's only 16 months. They were already planning on 3 1-month breaks, and so it's 16, and so it just gets whittled down. It's only it's basically 12 issues in 11 months, basically. If you
my
listen to
attention
these guys.
span, might not make it.
It's just crazy that any event is going to last over a year.
Again,
what is this? The rise and fall of the Shi'ar Empire? What the fuck?
Ryan's like, it's not an event. It's not an event.
Well,
it's just a regular comic.
It's just our greatest selling comic that includes all of the DC universe, but it's not an event.
It depends on
any
how
of
you
these other
define
events.
an event book nowadays.
Yeah, is Mr. America?
Does it really though? It involves the DC universe.
Is Saga an event?
Saga is a comic book.
Is Mr. Miracle an
comic
event?
book?
Neither are events.
Is Daredevil? I mean, well, shit. Daredevil
Start
crossovers.
and
What
finish.
Is Phoenix
includes-
Resurrection an event, Higgins? Yes, it is. If it involves like a broad swath of characters, it's a fucking event.
when event to me?
Oh my
actually,
God. Is this level 1, level 2 events? This is the fucking
level 1 event.
worst.
This is a level 5 event that's going to
This is a
impact
level
the
5
DC
event.
universe on the completion of the project.
Yes.
The project now is going an extra
year.
When you say comic event,
9 months
that
or
is
so.
a
Not
miniseries with crossovers and tie-ins. That is an event. This is
Doubtful.
not that.
It does no. Maximum Carnage had no crossovers or tie-ins, and it was a fucking event.
It was literally only crossovers and tie-ins. What are you talking about?
Maximum Carnage?
Yes.
Carnage was all tie-ins.
It was literally only tie-ins.
What are you talking about? It was only Spider-Man books, part 1 through fucking 20.
And they had
Those are literally.
They had the one shot to start it, didn't they?
No, it started in just starting like Spider-Man
It only
Unlimited number 1.
whatever. Yeah,
Spider-Man Unlimited
It's
number 1.
literally only
Love that
crossovers.
No.
That's actually
Those
not
are all
an event.
branded. Those are all branded.
That's a
Maximum Carnage.
crossover, not an event. Because an event means you have a specific miniseries that is the event.
So why do
the
we-
stuff spinning
why do we-
out.
Okay, I'll think of another. I'll think of a better example.
Why do we say crossover event?
Well, that's just people getting.
This is an event book.
Here, I'll tell you what's not an event book, but is an event. Okay, you ready for this?
No, I'm still trying to.
He's trying to segue to the next topic right here. Look,
Oh,
there we
there
go.
you go.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Can I
there you
make
go.
my
Ready?
thing, which I was trying to
What was your-
say
what was your
something
statement?
about Charlie was saying that he wanted more work in the can, but they were trying to get Doomsday Clock out for the anniversary of the death of Superman.
No, I understand a lot of the significance they were going for. Either way, it would be nice if it could have just sort of powered through the release. But that being said, this could have been an OGN that they teased and finally put out, and that would have been okay
But
too.
it would have taken them. It would
yeah.
have taken them a long ass time to do that. In years.
Yeah. So, I mean, all in all, as long as the quality stays up, I'll live with it. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make me happy, but I also think it will have a minimal impact on other stuff going on.
Okay, we've talked about this way too long. Can we go
That's
on?
because it's Jeff Johns. I'm going to keep us on this topic all night.
Bryce, I have a question for you. What's your opinion on underwear? You a fan?
We, for those of us that tuned into the most recent Point 5 episode with me and Tobias, we actually addressed this, and I answered it.
Okay.
If you wanted to know my opinion
Boxer
about
briefs.
underwear, including my personal preference, go listen to the last Point 5, because I'm not going to fucking tell you now.
How do you feel about red underwear on the outside? Are you a fan? You a fan?
Yes. Huge.
Because they're back, baby.
I'm about to go into the bathroom. Actually, I'm not even going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to change into it right now. I'm going to put my underwear on the outside, especially because it's red.
So my favorite part about Action Comics 1000, we finally got all the info about this. The info, all the email header, all the articles said the red trunks are back, and they completely forgot to acknowledge like the fucking amazing comic that this is going to be. They didn't talk about anything that's going to be in Action Comics 1000. The creators, because nobody cares. People only care about the red trunks. So we're going to talk about everything else except the red trunks. But I guess we'll talk about those too.
You
Action
just
Comics
segued by talking about the red trunks.
That's the joke. Action Comics 1000.
Do you know how often you have to explain that's the joke?
That's
you know
the
that it's
joke.
not funny or a joke if you have to explain it every time.
Hey,
See, it's funny because
be nice.
RIPL talk.
Sorry.
Action Comics 1000,
Yeah. It's going to be incredible.
April 18th, 2018.
Is it delayed?
Not yet.
It's going to be coming out in 12 parts.
10 covers.
4 years.
10 covers.
10.
Jim Lee doing the main cover, representing Superman from today with the red trunks.
Oh, is Kurt Swan doing one?
Steve Rude doing a cover based around the 1930s. Michael Cho doing a 1940s cover. Dave Gibbons doing covers from 1950s. Mike Allred doing a 60s-inspired cover. Jim Steranko doing a 1970s cover, which, what the fuck? Jim Steranko doesn't do art anymore. Joshua Middleton's doing the 80s. Dan Jurgens, of course, doing the 90s.
Yeah.
Lee Bermejo doing the 2000s, and there will be a blank cover as well. 80 pages, $7.99, no ads. Book format, right? I mean, it's going to be the premier. What is it called? The prestige format, right? It is written and drawn by DC's first ever work by Brian Michael Bendis, featuring artwork by Jim Lee. There will also be stories by Peter Tomasi and Patrick Gleason, who are the current
sick.
Superman creative team. Dan Jurgens is doing a story, who's the writer and occasional artist as well on Action Comics. Let's see. There's going to be an unpublished Kurt Swan comic.
Dang.
Who was a classic Superman artist in the 40s and 50s and
40s and 50s.
60s?
Like 70s.
50s and 60s?
No, 70s.
Kurt Swan started in the 60s.
Until he was delayed, and then it came out in the 70s.
50s and 60s.
This is just a
Not
really
the 50s.
long delay, right? I mean,
I'm gonna do some
Look that up.
research.
It was...
Nope.
Yeah, his first Superman comic was 1948.
Shut up.
Yes, Kurt Swan drew Superman for like a long ass
Scott,
time.
you just got
20 years?
You just got Higgins.
I got pwned.
You got big time.
And it is an unpublished Kurt Swan story that Marv Wolfman is going to script.
The 50s through the 80s.
Yeah, I mean, he kept working, but there's also going to be a story by Jeff Johns and Oliver Copiel. Paul Dini and Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, who people will know as a person. Garcia Lopez is the guy that did all the DC style guides in the 80s. So every classic 80s and early 90s DC, 70s, 80s, and early 90s DC artwork you saw was styled around his artwork. He did all the Who's Who stuff and the stuff that the Who's Who would
Jerry
be based
Girl
on.
Superman?
Huh?
Jerry Girl Superman?
Before that. All the merchandising at that point. Tom King and Clay Mann, Brad Meltzer and John Cassaday, Louis Simonson and Jerry Ordway, Scott Snyder, Tim Sale, and more to be announced. Along with this is going to be a 80 Years of Superman hardcover that is going to collect the first appearance of Superman, Supergirl, Brainiac, Krypto, all his big people. It is going to have a previously unpublished Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster story that had been hidden away in the DC vaults forever. The creators of Superman, an unpublished story by them. Essays by Paul Levitz and other people that work at DC. Incredible amount of stuff that they're doing for Action Comics 1000. April 18th. We are selling sets right now at comicsconspiracy.biz.
that's just sets of the covers, right? Or is that sets with the hardcover?
Both.
Cool.
So you could do the covers, or you could do the covers and hardcover. So pre-order those if you want. Comicsconspiracy.biz. We already sold a bunch. I'm really curious what they're going to do with this book. And of course, the big, everyone loves Superman, but of course, the big news following this is that Batman's Detective Comics 1000 will be about a year later. So maybe it'll be July 2019. Maybe it'll be Doomsday Clock and Detective Comics will both be the same day.
They're going to tie in together.
Maybe they will. Crossover.
Big
right?
midnight release here at the Comics
Oh,
Conspiracy.
hell yeah. So Action Comics,
Are we doing a midnight release for that?
I don't think they're going to. Well, I mean, maybe if they allow it, sure. Even you, Bryce, you've got to pick up Action Comics 1.
Dude, I'm definitely picking it up.
Yeah,
I'm
of course.
legitimately excited. Like, that's legitimately cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool. I'm excited to see Bendis' thing, although I can't help but feel that there's no way that it can't just be sort of mediocre, or because there's too much hype going into it.
Yeah.
There's no way that I read this story and I'm like, oh, they did with Superman what I never thought possible. Like, I mean, sort of been done. So I'm
Jim Lee art though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Have we ever? We've never had that combo.
No, I mean, but by the time Bendis worked, Jim Lee was already over at DC. So
Yeah. I'm very excited though. I'm definitely picking it up. I don't know if I'm going to get the floppy or the hardcover though.
Well, the comic is not in the hardcover.
Yeah. So you have to get the you have to get the hardcover is like a companion.
Yeah, Action Comics 1000 is not in the hardcover. It's a companion hardcover being released alongside it.
Yeah.
Well,
That's like a celebration.
Just answered my question.
It's
Yeah.
like a celebration of Superman.
Okay.
Them all.
It is
That's
here.
cool. I will not be getting them all, but I will definitely be getting Action Comics 1000.
does
it's
the
going to be cool.
hardcover also have like a lost story in there?
Yeah, that's what the Jerry Siegel and
Jerry
Joe
Siegel.
Shuster. Yep.
The Swan is in the issue. The
Yeah.
Siegel and Schuster's one is in the.
See, you need them both.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get them both. Who am I kidding? Yeah, no, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be cool.
I'm super looking forward to this. Yeah, Toby wrote some stuff here to talk about. I guess we could talk about some of this stuff. We not specific to this story, but we were talking about a few things we started recording, and Bryce was like, "Why don't you just start talking about this on the podcast?" So we'll do that here. Toby posted a story that Xanadu Comics in Seattle's closing. They've been around for 42 years. They've been around for a long time.
That's a long
yeah,
time.
yeah. They're about to shut down soon.
I think I've been there.
Probably.
Well, this is just kind of
that's a story.
Part of a bigger...
Well, no, it's just whenever I've gone to Emerald City, I think that's the one that I've wandered through while I'm wandering around Seattle in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, my asshole must not have been coming through. Yeah, you got it.
There was an article on Bleeding Cool that about 50 comic stores between the end of last year and the beginning of this year have already shut down, which, obviously, that's a lot. We're talking about a store here that's kind of been changing, pulling a little bit away from comics, but we ended up talking about comic book pressing.
Mm-hmm. Didn't know about it until tonight.
Scott, you want to give us a little, for people that don't know what this is?
Scott, what is comic book pressing?
Pressing is taking generally older comic books that have folds, creases, spine wear, and putting it in between a high-pressure press to flatten and make line wear on covers almost not visible.
Scott, is it true that you can increase your CGC number of a comic book by pressing it?
In many cases, I mean, the guys that are doing the pressing will take a look at it and say yes, but I've seen them go up 1.5.
Wow, Scott!
So from a 5 to a 6.5.
CGC Body Pressing Company and offers pressing services
pressing
now.
Service as well.
They can't guarantee any increase,
right?
But
So that's why you just go and a lot of people do it at home. I mean, I know that I did it as a child. Not a child, but a teenager. I pressed my
Action Comics 1.
No, my Uncanny X-Men 101.
I am missing 9 X-Men books, and that's one of them.
Do you know what I did? I ironed it.
You didn't give it to me.
I ironed it.
Wow.
What
did you put over it before you put the iron on?
A very thin cotton shirt.
What? How did you Google this before the internet existed? How did you know to do this?
My friend's mom.
Okay.
Was like, nah, this will work.
Sounds legit.
She had and I was like, well, it's got tons of creases on it. I bought it from, shout out to Sue again at Cosmic Comics in Sunnyvale.
Love Sue.
It was gone, and I don't know when that went down.
Interesting.
But anyway, so yeah, you can press it with an iron. It's basically heat and a significant amount of pressure.
Yeah. Interesting. Is it true that pressing comics will make you more attractive to the people that you're attracted to?
Oh, you got to ask them. I feel like it's worked.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to go with confirmed true.
Yeah.
Okay.
it was a weird rabbit hole to get to that, but
get your comics pressed.
Yeah, pressing's interesting.
Actually,
I've never even heard of it. How has this existed forever? And how has this never come up ever?
I don't know.
I basically work. I work in the comics industry. I'm basically a comic creator. Well, that's not true at all, even remotely.
If he starts screaming about job creation, I'm like,
the whole CGC thing has changed a lot of stores. So kind of circling back a little bit here, it's interesting to see stores that have kind of a lot of stores have stopped dealing with back issues in recent years, and I feel like that was a missed opportunity because in the early 2000s there was a weird shift away from it. But I feel like for us and a lot of stores that still do back issues, there's been like a big resurgence for people collecting stuff. It does tend to be like high grade and key issues, but when we do our back issue sales, we blow through a ton of crap.
Yeah.
Well, I think it also helped that it became a specialty thing for shops.
Yeah,
I used to go looking for back issues all the time, and most of the shops I go to, you only really had to check their back issues once because there didn't tend to be any kind of real restocking. It just went from the wall into the back issue bins.
Yeah.
And then the stores like here, who have done a very good job of taking collections over time and that kind of stuff to keep restocking and keep having new stuff, tend to keep people coming back specifically for that. Just like some people go to other shops for statues or other shops for other things.
We've never dealt in too much of the high grade or Silver Age stuff, but we get it in occasionally. But things like pressing and CGC have completely shifted how comic stores, I think, function for old material. And the store here, the reason we started to bring this up is because one of the stores, they switched owners recently because the guy that ran it, the guy that owned it for a couple of years now, actually just got out entirely to run a CGC or to run a pressing company and deal with CGC and cons and eBay and not even deal with having a storefront anymore. So, when I've seen some of these stores that have been shutting down, a couple of them have said, yeah, we're just going to sell online. I think this is actually a decent segue into something else I wanted to talk about. But it's interesting to see who can make the store work for an older store like that. I mean, they must have a ton of customers, so it's weird to see them go. But it's one thing if they're retiring, right? I mean, that's sure. Fuck, if I'm here for 40 years, kill me. But that's actually way sooner than I would think. But
aren't you halfway there?
Yeah, I am halfway there. So another 20 is not hard. But yeah,
that's what she said.
When to see a lot of these stores close, sometimes I've seen video and pictures where the store is closed, and you're like,
They deserve to be closed.
Yeah. My favorite one, oh God, I can't remember what the store was. The video starts, and it's a tag for Penthouse Comics.
Oh Jesus!
And that's like the opening shot of the video on like the local news channel. And I was like, yeah, that store can go. Like that's fine. But I don't like seeing stores closed. But we were talking about online sales. This is intended to be all over the map here, so pardon me if there's no like clear train of thought here in the conversation we're having at this point. Sometimes we actually do. This is intentionally all over the place because there was a couple things I wanted to hit.
It's only in Toby specials are we well edited and formatted.
There you go.
Yeah.
I could lump this all together. I don't want to spend half this episode pimping the store, but we mentioned it at the end of last week's episode.
Pimp the store.
So one thing that we've done here at the store is we moved over to ComicHub, which I actually wanted to talk about a little bit more in depth because we didn't really talk about it last. We mentioned it kind of at the end of the episode, but not actually in the episode. It's a point of sale system that is more than just a cash register. Our old subscription system that we had here was a glorified Excel spreadsheet. All right,
it was basically a bunch of records in FileMaker Pro.
Yeah. The new one, so it's called ComicHub, all one word. Anyone in the country can go. Well, technically anyone in the world, but international shipping is a bitch. You could get this app. You can check out what stores are part of ComicHub. Mm-hmm. You can actually register one of them as your preferred store. So if you registered Comics Conspiracy, you could set up an account there. You can, as of right now, you can see the next 3 months of previews, what's shipping now, what's about to ship, and what we're putting our orders in for. Mm-hmm. You can make subscriptions, special order items. It's not like a physical cart where you can run credit cards through.
Yeah,
that is coming.
Yeah, it's a. So you set us up on it, and I've tested it out a little bit with placing orders.
Most of our in-store customers are already using it.
But for the most part, it's basically what we talk about all the time, where when you put it in the cart, you're basically saying, "I want to buy this." You're pre-ordering the item.
Yeah.
And when you click buy, it basically means that we're going to put it in your box for you.
Yep.
And you're going to come down and buy it.
Yeah, so for local people, the option is for to pick up here.
Yes.
So it's no different. I mean, again, you're not paying for this stuff up front. It is a traditional subscription that we have here, but the option eventually is going to be to actually have a card on file through the system. And so when books come in, we charge like you purchase through Amazon or whatever, right? You could sign up for varying covers, so we can actually, again, you got to do it. It's not just. I want this 1 in 1,000 variant cover. It's like, no, it doesn't work like that.
The app the app in the online store or the online Comics Hub do a great job of saying this is a variant. You can't necessarily subscribe to it, but you can put in and say, hey, I have interest in this.
Yeah.
For stuff like I know the Adam Hughes covers are going to come up for the Batgirl and the Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
So you can put in an interest for that. It's not automatically doing it, but when you put in that, it at least flags to you to know, hey, a couple people are interested. I need to bump my orders of this.
Yeah, with a lot of the variant covers these days, they are open order for the high tier Marvel ones, and some of the independent companies they're not. So like that Adam Hughes Birds of Prey cover is completely open order. I can order 10, I can order 1,000, right? I can order as many as I want. So it's a cool way to actually have a subscription at a store. You can add stuff every week. You can go through the pull list. It's early. It's not 100% there's still some UI issues. It can be a little quirky at times, but it's there's maybe 15 or 20 stores using it right now. Maybe not even that many. But it's every day it's getting updated.
It's definitely something that I was skeptical moving over to a new POS system, even though Moby.
The old POS is gone.
Yeah.
Basically, it's all but abandoned at this point. So,
and I've used another POS system at the other shop I worked at, and that one was a nightmare.
Yeah,
and so it was really kind of okay. We're going to go to this new one, but this one came from a comic book store.
Yep.
Like the guy who created this ComicHub is New Zealand where his shop is.
Yep. Heroes for sale.
So there's a lot of he has this already knowledge. So things that he put in, we're pretty much already there, but we might call it something different, but it's the same concept, right?
Yeah, I mean they have you could create like unique local items. So at very soon, when our actual storefront is up, so a person can log in, see what we have in the store, make a purchase through there, pay through their credit card, and get it delivered. Right now, it's still sort of like a pre-order,
which is packed by me most
system.
likely.
Yeah, that is coming very soon. You actually can go through and place orders for in-stock items. For that Action Comics 1000, we may be able to switch over and actually accept orders for that. Through the point of sale system, through the app, once we get a little more stuff set up. So it's a pretty cool system. If you've got a store that uses a ComicHub, you should check it out. It makes it a lot easier to order product and to keep track of what's coming up.
Oh, previews. I went through previews. I had the previews open. I went through on my ComicHub app. I put everything in the cart. I hit submit.
Yep.
Went to you.
You get it.
You got it. It was placed, so I'm done.
Yep. This makes it just a lot easier to keep track of.
I need to sit down with you still and just be like, okay, how do you do this?
Yeah.
Because I have not figured out a lot in the app yet.
It is very cool. The mobile app, I think, is far from finished. If you use the web portal proper on the computer, it is much more digestible, and it is in fact very, very cool. So it'll be good. My only thing is not being, and this isn't ComicHub's fault, although maybe they could do some like 3D pictures or something at some point in time, but like not being able to like see what it looks like, or obviously hold it, but even just like seeing what it looks like, putting some stuff in your cart blind is a little daunting.
Pictures. There's pictures for everything.
Yeah. Thumbnail pictures of the cover.
You can blow those up, but that's all you're ever going to see. You won't get any more info than that.
I'm not comparing it to Amazon because it's a very new platform, so I'm not ribbing it too much. I'm just saying that like Amazon gives you like the 3D picture, it gives you multiple angles, it gives you.
You're never going to get that for a comic book.
I'm just
even the ones
I'm saying that I like ComicHub. I just think that there's some things.
There's a comic. They all look the same. I mean, even the 3D images, the 3-dimensional images you will see of comic books are all mock-ups. It's just the cover art tilted to put it on a comic, to put it on like a hardcover slot or something. A lot of the times you don't actually see the physical. They all look the same.
Yeah, the most you might get is a lot of places now release sort of like sneak peeks of the first couple of pages of various books, so you might see something like that go in there.
Yeah, I don't even need to necessarily see
that. That's one of the things that they're actually working on is the sneak peek section in the on the
previews
on the desktop and on the app where you can go in and this is coming out. Here's some sneak peek preview pages to see if you're interested in getting that title.
Yeah, I'm not throwing shade at it. I'm just saying that the app is a little rough, and there's some development progress that could be made if you hire Charlie.
Yeah.
Well, either way, it's far superior to what we had before, which was nothing.
Yeah, I'm not complaining.
We had those FileMaker Pro records.
Yeah, no, it's
I've already repressed those.
Ryan hasn't.
I've deleted most of them, so I'm slowly getting everything transferred over. But it's a real cool system. So, if you've been wondering, hey, I want to get a subscription to the store, mail order is a much more convenient way to do it now.
And if you're like me and constantly go, did I buy that already?
Yeah.
You can now look it up on your phone.
No, don't bring that up because that's the worst part of the app. Is seeing your order history.
Knowing what you've bought.
So I have the stacks at home to prove if I can avoid not having 2 hardcovers for Sandman Overture, knowing that I'm about to replace them both with an absolute after I bought And they're both still sealed, too.
Nice.
Fun times.
Moving on from ComicHub, we got one more thing to talk about, then we're going to do some questions. And I think Toby may want to jump in here if he's done. CW's Black Lightning premiered last week? Yeah, because we're recording now, episode 2.
So the second episode?
It aired tonight, yeah. So Black Lightning aired. You know, I would never consider myself a big Black Lightning fan. I like him; he's cool, right?
I like Black Lightning because he's an outsider.
Yeah, but sure, he's a cool character. But you know, having another show, another superhero show, DC, same channel, it's on the WB. It's not part of the Arrowverse. I mean, it could down the road.
Well, they've made it sound like it because they've had some follow-up interviews where they make it sound like it is in the Arrowverse, but a very small pocket of the Arrowverse that isn't really.
Because
it's field view. It's field.
In the show, they make some sort of mention about like other heroes.
Yeah.
So they sort of keep that door just ajar enough, just open. That if they want to do something with the Arrowverse or bring in other characters, they can. But that said, first episode, like really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Besides a couple little things that I saw that I didn't like because you could tell it's because it's a pilot.
Yeah.
Or the first episode. For the most part, I was like, this is damn good.
Yeah. A little, for a CW, teeny bopper drama, a little more raw than I thought it was going to be. It was, not only just violent, not necessarily violence, but language and sexuality and characters. Like, this show's not. This isn't. They're not trying to play it safe here. It's a pretty.
At least right now, it does not feel like a CW teeny bopper show at all. Like, it feels unique to the network.
Look,
at least from the pilot.
It's not HBO. It's not Netflix. I mean, it's not like that.
Holy crap! What would happen if we actually got an HBO superhero show?
Compared to what I think most people's idea of what the CW shows are, this was definitely I think a step up on at least quality wise, probably a step up from all the Arrowverse stuff. It was real good. Toby, do you want to come jump in? Do you want to steal someone's mic?
Hello.
Toby's here.
I am.
Black Lightning.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
I thought the first episode might have done better if it was 2 episodes, to be honest with you. I thought it was a lot of info. Yeah. They rushed a little bit. After watching all these Netflix shows that are so slow, I kind of like them a little slower now. Kind of like to digest the stuff that's happening, not like, hey, this is happening, and then the next scene is on. I like a little sandwich in between now.
You like waiting 6 hours till something happens. Yeah, sure, I get it.
So, maybe 3. But, I thoroughly enjoyed it. What I also liked was that the kids, when it was about the kids that played younger music, they play like, hip-hop that was actually more that younger people are listening to. And when it's, Black Lightning, they actually play kind of more the old school music. Yeah. I kind of thought that was a nice touch. I'm really excited for the show. Yeah. I actually think that Black Lightning in the long run is not going to be the main character. It's going to be the 2 girls, Thunder and Lightning.
I mean, it's the family, right? This is their Scooby gang, right?
They're Fantastic Four. Overall, I mean, I really like it, and I'm really looking forward to it, and I thought they did a really good job.
Yeah.
The human aspect is there, and the only thing I really don't like about the show right now is that I'm the fucking villain.
Tobias?
Yeah.
Tobias Whale?
Yeah. I don't like that.
What?
Not in a Black Lightning show. Let me be the villain on, a Ryan show. What's a Ryan show?
What is that actor's nationality?
I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah, he's weird like me.
He's odd.
Yeah? So?
Like, he's not... He's an odd-looking dude.
Well, yeah, that's what people have been telling me all my life. All right? Thanks a lot, motherfucker.
Tobias Whale, isn't he a Green Arrow villain originally?
I think so.
Stay there. Why do you have to come to my most excited new show? So go on Legends of Tomorrow and smash up some of Ryan's guys. That makes me happy. I'm like, go Tobias, go fuck some of these Ryan dudes up. Like, no, fuck him up, But instead he's there fighting Black Lightning. I don't really like it. That's my only complaint.
Okay. Yeah, real good show though.
I also recommend.
Scott, you should watch it. You should watch it. It's really good.
No, I'm looking. I'm backlogged on TV.
Yeah, me too. Actually,
majorly backlogged.
I do recommend people to check out these DC Nation cartoons. They are very similar.
Oh, the shorts.
Yeah, they're very similar in the characters and stuff like that. So I recommend.
I think one of the things that really stood out to me on the pilot is all the characters felt very fully formed.
Yep.
Which is kind of rare for a pilot. That like you have that cleanest sense of who the different main characters are and what's bringing them.
Yep. It was a good good setup. I like the characters. I really like Thunder and Lightning. I feel terrible because they barely show their power. One of them has powers once at the very end of the episode, but I don't even I'm blanking on their actual character names.
Here comes Toby.
But his daughters, Black Lightning's daughters, are
well. Again, by the time the other daughter's going to have her powers, it's going to be like the second season, last episode, because they really need to, flesh everything out.
No, there's already pictures of both of them in costume.
Yeah.
I'm making fun of you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Also, is the rumors true that the ex-wife is the sister of Jon Stewart?
I don't know anything about that.
Really?
Yeah, there was some reports of that last week before the premiere and stuff. That
they're going to bring Jon Stewart into the show?
Oh, badass.
It's fucking incredible.
And then I'd be like, okay, now I need the spinoff, like today.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
I'm gonna go to our honorable mentions category. Did anybody watch Counterpart?
Oh, what that is?
Nope.
It's so Lane's in the back, and Lane backed me up. It was very good. So J.K. Simmons, who was in Whiplash, Academy Award winner.
Do you mean isn't that J. Jonah Jameson? Yeah.
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon. Yeah.
Basically,
the thing we really know him from.
It's two worlds.
Okay.
That
this is a comic book
that haven't known each other.
It's a comic book thing?
No, not at all.
Why are you talking about this then?
Because
this is a comic conspiracy podcast.
Honorable mention.
Don't honorable mention
Counterpart.
my okay, what's the show? What's the show? What channel?
It's his random
on
pick.
Stars.
Oh, random TV
pick.
show pick.
Yeah,
Counterpart,
it's his random TV show pick.
Counterpart on Stars. Lane says it's good too.
You're welcome to come to our roundup any day.
The TV roundup.
Yes.
So yeah, it's good. Check it out. It's a little sci-fi, little different. Flash of two worlds.
About the guy that plays Tobias Whale.
Yeah.
His name is Marvin Cordon Jones III. He's actually an albino.
Okay.
That's kind of what I figured.
You know what? Leanne said that, and I was like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, he's
very unique looking.
He's a core member of Strong Arm Steady, which is it has like 8 members. So yeah, big hip hop stuff.
Yeah.
He was in Harry's Law.
I don't know what that is.
So it's an old TV
it's
show.
one of those court shows from
Yeah.
Boston Legal Creative.
So
So Black Lightning, really good. Yeah, the second episode was on tonight, so I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit more in the following weeks. Because I need another show to watch.
Yeah, like you need a hole in your head.
Yeah, it's terrible. I think that was it.
No, you wanted to rip into Punisher a little bit.
So
I didn't want to rip into Punisher.
Slowly.
I could talk about Punisher briefly though.
yeah, go.
I finally got to see. I watched all of Punisher. Watched the last handful of episodes over the last week. So I made some comment online. I made a comment on Twitter. They got a lot of kerfluffle. Episode 1 was really good. Really good. And I think I talked about it here. I was like, I've only seen the first. I really liked it when we were doing our end of year roundup. I found 2 through 6, 2 through 5.5. I don't mind the plot. It just really took a long time for them to introduce everything. Those episodes, I feel like you could have had 2 through 6, could have been one episode, maybe parts of 2 episodes, maybe parts of 3. It felt like they started with this, really actiony, violent episode, but you get to know a lot about Frank, to this very just meandering backstory about all these other side characters and this government plot that kind of doesn't get fleshed out even until you don't even flesh out that plot till later in the season. And I was just like, where the hell is this show going? Like, for the Punisher, like, nothing's happening.
Nobody is being punished.
No one was. There was so little action or I don't need it to be 24/7 violence, but there was very little going on in those episodes.
Okay, so let's move on to episode 7 on.
That said, the back half of the show does pick up pretty good.
It's like a fucking steamroller.
I mean, there's still some... It comes to a grinding halt occasionally. It's a very poorly paced show. But
a grinding halt.
Hey,
it does.
He's got to at least reload. You got to stop, reload.
Yeah,
Give him a second.
Yeah, it does feel like it hits a wall a few times. The whole terrorist kid, like his entire plot, like just needed to be just ignored. Just
personally,
the worst.
I didn't care for the terrorist kid either.
Yeah, it was just. Yeah, it was just this weird like other plot that was shoved into the middle of the show. Like they could have just completely got away with that. Like
so he's like the Elektra of Daredevil season 2.
Kinda. Well, there's such weird parts where like Karen Page is there and then she just fucking vanishes, and you're like, I guess she's done. And,
did you need more of her?
I like Karen Page. She was great. But
did you need more of her? Didn't she serve her purpose in the story?
Well, she's only there for the terrorist kid plot. But then like you think they would do like something else with her, and she just kind of disappears. I don't. Like I said, it's a weirdly paced show. That said, when they do turn up the action in those last few episodes, it's fucking awesome. And I completely had no idea that that's a Jigsaw. I never made a I don't
until the end.
Well,
you're like, oh my god, that's Jigsaw.
That's his name, right? I never knew Jigsaw's real name.
Either did I.
So yeah, it's not like they were trying to hide it. It's Jigsaw's name. But so when he's grinding his face down the glass, I was like, is that Jigsaw? Like, it just kind of popped in my head.
Exactly.
And I was like, oh, that's Jigsaw. Okay. I mean, it's not Jigsaw, right? It's like
Actually, no, it's not. It is Jigsaw. His name is correct and everything.
Jigsaw is part of the Mafia, right? I mean, he's one of the mafia guys. Yeah. This character's not that character at all. Name only.
Exactly that character.
Well, maybe.
Same with Frank. Frank isn't.
No, Frank is. Yeah. Punisher's totally a different character than in the comics.
Right.
But,
this is fucking season 1.
Yeah.
This is year 1.
Yeah, sure. But it was a good show. I have some problems with it. I like most of the Netflix shows.
I got some problems with Justice League.
I feel like there's episodes that it's just the pacing problems and. What should have been 8 episodes is dragged out to 13 or something. Like it's weird that all the shows seem to have this issue. I don't know what the deal is.
This is not even close to the same issue.
This is you're just wrong on this one. The other ones do have that issue. This one did not have that issue. The whole like
watch the first 6 episodes and walk away and tell me what you think. Just those 6. Don't let the rest of the episodes color your opinion.
It would be difficult because I was so hooked on the story, the developed characters, and the developed world that they'd put me in that I wanted to watch episode 7.
Yeah,
I mean, like I was
struggling. I like episodes like 3, 4, and 5.
These developed characters in these worlds, and yet he sits there and reads Marvel.
Struggling.
Have you been reading Marvel lately?
I was not struggling.
Good point, Brock.
Those plot holes.
Anyway, so yeah, I forget his name. What's the kid's name? The kid's name. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I thought that was a great. What? No.
I was just guessing.
So yeah, I thought that was a great segue. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you the quality of media that we watch. I think that would get annoying very quickly. But yeah, I loved it. It was my, I think, second favorite of all the Netflix stuff after Daredevil season 1. Loved Jigsaw. I loved the development of the whole world. I loved all the action. The action was incredible. I loved the fact that it was, Punisher year 1 and sort of seeing, how he comes about. I actually think that season 2 will be much harder. Kind of like Daredevil. Like, I think that Daredevil's first season was a lot of the whole year 1. That they didn't really, once they put him in the costume, I think that almost made Daredevil season 2 suffer a little bit. Like him in the black hoodie or whatever was killer in season 1. Yeah, I think that it did a great job. I've never been in the armed services, but I have to imagine that PTSD is like a thing that is one of the biggest elements coming back from war for all the folks that went over there, and so sort of having that be a main crux of the story for the season is something that I have to imagine really hit home for a lot of people, and certainly made me feel like it was more real than I might have otherwise felt. I'm not surprised that there's some domestic terrorism with some guy that goes crazy, and he happens to be in their little group. I don't know. I loved it. I actually like the slow episodes if it involves building and developing characters, which I know that might not be a popular opinion at this table.
I'm okay with it, just not 5 in a row. Like, that was my problem. Like, that's what I said. I don't care if they took those character developments and build them through the show, but you would have action scenes, and then you would go to just like the Homeland lady, and it would just grind to a halt, just stop. Everything would just cut, and then it would cut back to some scene with Punisher, and there's just a lot of weird back and forth that just didn't work for me.
I almost want to rewatch this because you've used grind to a halt twice, as if the hyperbole wasn't fucking spitting at me across the table. Like, I'm not sure the grinding to a halt is really accurately represents what happened in The Punisher. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should go back and watch it.
You should.
Yeah. I definitely disagree.
You loved it.
Well, I agree about the terrorist kid plot. I could have done without. Like, that was the one plot in there that I didn't care for, but I didn't feel like the rest of the plot hurt anything. The only complaint I would have is the fact that we didn't end the season with a clear, like, war on crime kind of moving forward thing. Like, it's the only Punisher story I've ever seen that feels like the Punisher could be done now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is weird to me. Like,
on the next season is going to be why he's coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, he's out again.
That's kind of...
But is it going to be multiple... He's in, he's out. He's in, he's out. Yeah. He's in, he's out. I mean, this is why...
You mean like your favorite Netflix series, Jessica Jones?
When did they ever do that in Jessica Jones?
He's caught, he's released. He's caught, he escapes. He's caught, he escapes. He's caught, he escapes.
That's a little different.
It happened fucking like 4 different times in that season.
One season.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was your favorite season, so it's infallible. Got it.
Didn't say that.
It was my favorite season, so it's infallible. I'll say it.
Oh. Is there questions?
There is questions.
I have a question for you.
Until season 2. Then season 2 will become my favorite.
So I have a question for you, Charlie.
Sure.
Do you like the original Batman, Michael Keaton? First Batman out.
Of course I do. I saw that movie. I must have seen it like 6 times in the theater in different ways.
He's setting you up for a point. Let him get to the point.
Are you excited about potentially going to see it with the San Francisco Symphony doing the music to the movie as it plays? I think that would be pretty sweet.
I agree it would be sweet, but I also have an intense hatred of going up to San Francisco.
I do too. You got to park. Parking and traffic. If somebody could just get me somewhere, show me where to park in a spot.
Like if your Google actually took you to the parking spot.
To the spot.
Paid for it in advance.
I actually probably need to take Uber in a really nice car.
I was going to say, what is wrong with you guys? Uber exists. Just park on the outskirts easily and just get an Uber for $4.
Yeah.
Either way,
the city sucks.
I occasionally have to go to San Francisco, and every single time it just makes me miserable to know I have to go up to San Francisco.
So April 4th, if you're in San Francisco, you can go watch the original Batman with the San Francisco Symphony playing Danny Elfman's music.
Nice.
So you're going to be there, right?
Totally be tempted.
That's very cool. Are they doing, what is it? They can't be doing just one showing. How many shows do they have?
It's Wednesday the 4th and Thursday the 5th.
So there's 2 shows?
2 shows.
It's got to be sold out. In the city?
I don't know.
How many hipster nerds are in the city? They don't have to worry about parking. They just take their Uber without complaining about it,
They
bastards.
take their electronic bike.
Some just walk out and walk down the street.
Somebody just walks.
Question.
But I think that's pretty neat.
That is cool. Yeah. That's cool. Question.
Higgins does not care. Question.
No, I do care. I love that stuff. I've been with some of those.
He's a total hipster. He would be the first one in line for something like that.
I've been in the Pokemon one. I've been in the... Oh,
Zelda
no,
one.
I haven't been in the Pokemon one. I went to the Zelda one. I wanted to go to the Pokemon one.
I've been to the Zelda one.
Mario.
Is it cool? I love Zelda.
Cool.
Game of Thrones.
Ryan.
Yeah.
Do you have questions?
I do have questions. Indie Gator asks, what's your most anticipated movie of 2018 and why is it Avengers Infinity War? Snark aside, of course it's Infinity War. I want Infinity War to be fucking incredible.
Yeah, I've been waiting for Infinity War a little too long.
Man, you went deep for that question. That's at like the end of the list.
That's the start of the list.
Okay, I'm going the other direction.
I go backwards. I go from the most.
Oh, do you see his questions before he asked them? Are you living in the future? Are you from the future?
I'm from the future.
He's just on his phone.
Do I lose my hair?
I think if you're,
How many kids do I end up with?
6.
Am I still as handsome?
I think it doesn't matter what your thoughts on the Marvel movies are, if you like them or hate them, or I mean, I guess maybe if you hate
You got to be pumped for Infinity War.
I guess if you hate them, maybe you don't want to see Infinity War. But yeah, Infinity War is.
Hold on, Charlie. You have to be
We
torn
are
this year.
pumped for the Infinity
You
War.
have to be torn this year.
Not how it goes.
Why am I torn this year?
It's not how it goes.
Not exactly.
Or it's the first time we're actually seeing Cable on the big screen.
Infinity War is a bit on a different.
Brock, you got him.
I know.
Infinity War is on a different level.
Charlie and Bryce, answer the question.
Yeah.
Are you
wait,
more
what was the
excited?
question?
Are you more excited about Infinity
Infinity
War
War.
or Deadpool 2? Because that's when Cable's going to be on the big screen.
It's not even a question.
I don't need to measure my cable peen against Charlie's because mine is just default bigger. So I'm more excited about Infinity War because there's no question. Who's the bigger Cable fan? And the answer is me. That's what. There's no question.
If you were a bigger Cable fan, you'd be more excited about Deadpool 2.
I'm not sure if you understand how confidence works, Mr. Shea, so let me explain it to you. If you know...
This is where you cut his mic and we go to the next question.
If you know that you are the most handsome member of the podcast, you don't need to constantly remind... Wait a minute.
Ulysses asks, I have 2 questions. What's your favorite comic book art by Alex Ross? Charlie.
That's a
What's your
no-brainer.
favorite? Do you have a favorite, Alex? Charlie's like the biggest Alex Ross fan I know.
Justice Society covers?
No.
Well, the Justice Societies were nice, but I do like the Joker Harley that we have the art.
Don't
box
take
for.
mine.
Superman.
Don't take mine.
Oh, this.
Don't take mine.
There's a lot. I even like his Super Grover. His Super Grover is also amazing.
What is wrong with you?
I love the old Astro City.
Oh, yeah.
I
Those early
love.
covers?
I mean, it's a new world. It's new heroes. It's him.
News I didn't talk about, actually. Astro City's ending is going to turn into a series of graphic novels.
Nice.
So there you go.
Smarter.
Yeah. So for me, it's the Joker Harley.
Yeah. No, there's a. I'm just sitting here going like, I remember that shot from Marvels with like.
I remember. I think one of my favorite comic panels of all time was one of the shots from Marvels, where what's the photographer's name?
Peter Parker.
Why am I blanking on his name?
No, the insurance guy.
I'm just kidding.
The guy with the glasses,
I also
right?
forget.
When he's standing in the street and Giant Man steps
Yeah.
over him. That is one of my favorite comic panels of all time.
Wow.
It's just an awesome panel where he's looking up at Giant Man stepping over the street, like over him, and he's like, "What the fuck?" Like, it was a great panel. It's one of my favorite panels of all time.
That's a deep cut. I like
Yep.
it. Mine is Kingdom Come.
Wait, did I pick the Marvel thing and you picked the DC thing?
Fucking Kingdom Come is like some of the best,
incredible.
though.
Yeah.
With the arch villain Cable.
Ulysses, he also asks if any of us have read the Justice League script, the George Miller. The script got leaked. I have not.
No.
I've never been a script reading guy, but maybe we'll.
Confirmed best script of 2018.
Question from Vic. He says the Black Panther film will be Marvel's answer to James Bond. Okay.
Huh?
Does this make you guys excited or indifferent to a character that might out Batman on the big screen?
Okay.
There's a lot of assumptions here.
No, that's just patently wrong.
I don't see how Black Panther will be Marvel's James Bond. Like, that's a weird.
Or Batman.
Yeah.
Is it supposed to be like a?
He's a little Batman. A little Batman, but I don't get the James Bond thing at all. I don't see where that's coming from.
But he's not going to out Batman.
Sorry, Vic.
You don't out Batman.
No.
But the James Bond. But
Even I don't think you
the
out
Black Panther
Batman.
movie looks incredible. But
Yeah, it looks
I
great.
don't get the James Bond bit. Is there like a plot if he's like the suave where he's T'Challa for 9/10 of the movie,
And he
and
likes
not
it
actually
shaken, not
Black
stirred?
Panther? Like maybe I don't know. I don't know where that comes from.
Is it in the trailer? You'd have to tell me. Don't tell me though. Spoiler level 1 through 3.
Okay. Are you going to take the next question?
What's the next question?
The next question is by Norman.
He's up a couple, but yeah, I'll get to it.
And I'm hoping that it really is Norman Fell from,
He's champing at the bit here.
Norman Fell.
What is Norman Fell's question?
Norman Fell's question is, do you think we'll ever see an Alpha Flight movie?
No.
Or wishful thinking?
Wishful thinking.
It would be awesome.
It would be awesome, but that's definitely wishful thinking.
I think
I don't think so.
Yeah, Canadian superheroes just would not
I think they
sell
could seriously.
worldwide.
I think they could seriously do an Alpha Flight movie in Canada.
They could do an Alpha Flight movie anywhere, but I think that
The question is, for the conversion, would they charge $1 extra for tickets?
Yeah.
I think there is a potential you will see Alpha Flight in a movie.
I can see
don't
that.
think you would see Alpha Flight.
Oh,
I won't be surprised if they cameo in Infinity War.
Yeah. Oh, if they bring the X-Men in, we'll totally see We'll totally see them cameo in an X-Men Marvel Cinematic Universe movie.
Get an Excalibur movie next, then Exiles.
Let's see.
I watched The Gifted, the first episode of The Gifted. Where's Toby?
Oh, Gifted's great.
I've only watched episode 1, but I'm not going home to watch.
The first is not the best.
I'm not going home to watch episode 2.
I'm
tonight.
only on like 5 or 6.
I'll keep it going, but
So disappointed in you. So disappointed.
Man,
dude,
you're gonna make us cry.
You definitely cabled fan number 2 now.
Oh,
Bryce, it's a live-action X-Men TV show.
Who like are those the Strucker twins? Are those those aren't the Strucker twins?
Watching, motherfucker.
No, those aren't the Strucker twins. And what's with this guy from True Blood being the dad?
Vampire Bill.
Yeah, Vampire Bill.
We're talking about that
every time I see him protecting his mutant kids. I just want to go suck it. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, Blink looks great. Proudstar looks great. But who is fucking like not Sunspot? Who's that guy? He's not a real X-Men. What the fuck?
Yeah,
I feel like I was given like I was given a Fox show, Strike One, with like half X-Men plus one. And half not X-Men.
Well,
Strike
it's
2.
The X-Men except for Cable, Deadpool, Wolverine.
They do name drop the Brotherhood.
Cyclops,
that's pretty sick.
Jean Grey, Jubilee, Angel, Beast. You know,
that's what I'm saying. They have a bunch of peripheral characters that I love. I appreciate that they have them, but then they stuck them in with a bunch of fake characters.
Lane spoiled who shows up later in the series for me. That puts it high on my list.
Do not fucking spoil that.
Just
Lane.
spoil it. Just do it.
No, don't do it.
Do it.
Phoenix Resurrection has been really good. Are we talking about that yet?
No, it's not yet.
Oh my god, it's really good.
Jump around here because we're gonna do our random picks too.
Jump
been
around.
A little while since we've done our random picks. Norman also asks, did Charlie and Toby were MIA last month when he asked about the most valuable books in your personal collection? Charlie, what's your most valuable book in your personal collection? He assumes it's the first appearance of the Tick. And Toby's most valuable book is apparently the Walking Dead #1 that's stuck in storage somewhere and he doesn't know where it is.
That is very true. And I bought that by accident because everybody is buying it, so I just wanted to check it out, and I just happened to got Walking Dead #1. But not counting that one, which I can't find right now, which is really at Charlie's house, so it's technically Charlie's at this point.
So, Charlie, your most expensive comic is Walking Dead #1.
Yeah.
You just have to find it.
I think my most expensive comic book is the one I bought most recently from you, which Bryce is holding over my head for all eternity. It's the first appearance of Moon Knight!
I was going to say that was probably... I was going to sarcastically say that was your most expensive book. Fucking Higgins sold me the entire run of Werewolf by Night, went through the short box, and pulled out the Moon Knight first appearance, sold me the rest of the run. Sold me the rest of the run and said, "Is it okay if Toby buys this?"
Let me tell you how this actually happened. We got a run of Moon Knight, Werewolf by Night in stock, and Toby was like, "I really want the first appearance of Moon Knight." And he's been thinking about this for years, and I'm like, "Yeah, we got it. It's yours." I have a rest of the run of Moon Knight or of Werewolf by Night, and Bryce is like, "I'll buy that," and I'm like, "Cool." It doesn't have the first appearance of Moon Knight. That's the only thing missing.
So there was no surprise when you went flipping through it. It's not like it was going to magically show up for $700
Just
less.
like The Last Jedi, spoiler for The Last Jedi, the truth is actually somewhere in between. I wasn't as vitriolic or shocked as I may have made it seem, but Higgins definitely made this deal in front of both of us. Anyway,
Dan,
I'm going to get it eventually.
Dan asks...
And to answer,
I
have no clue what my most expensive comic is because I don't keep track of comic
Wasn't the question
prices.
most valuable?
Well,
so wouldn't it be Tick #1?
I don't know what any of this stuff is going for. I don't pay attention. I intentionally
Value doesn't necessarily mean monetary, Charlie. I mean, I'm surprised that I have to tell you that. That's
What's the Grail comic you have at home?
The one be hardcovers or something.
Charlie, what's the one comic you have where you're like, man, I went on a hunt.
This could be like $2 and I don't
know. When I went on hunts, it was for like complete collections of stuff. It wasn't for like single issues. It was like, I've decided I'm going to buy all of the Max issues. And I went out and hunted down all of the Max issues. That's just the way I operated. I mean, I remember doing that for Executioner Song. I ended up with a couple and then I went, now I need the rest. It's just the way I am. So, like, if you're talking about straight up value, I have no fucking clue, partly because I, a long time ago, decided I cannot pay attention to how much comics are worth because that immediately makes me go, damn, it's got a crease, or damn, there's a little mark there. Like, I can't handle that. So I don't pay attention.
How about question remix? That's me scratching a record, obviously. What is the most heartfelt comic for you? Maybe that's not the right word, but the most, forget about money. What is your most prized comic?
I mean, there's
his copy of Action Comics #1.
Exactly.
That he's had pressed.
No.
And it's like a third print.
No, I mean, a lot of what I've held on to were like particular like Alex Ross stuff. Like I really, really like, and I never get rid of those. I mean, most single issues I don't hold on to, except for stuff like The Tick. The Tick I've held on to just because I buy it in all its forms, because that's how I support that small little comic that goes.
Interesting.
There's your answer.
Yeah. I love it. Oh, I love that answer.
So he answered it himself.
Got a bunch of store-related questions. I'm going to answer some of these. It's a question from Dan. He says, how's No Surrender doing for you? That's the Avengers arc. What's your opinion on weekly events? He hates them. I mean, I like weekly comics. I like money. I like double shipping. Yeah, if it brings more people in, people like it, that's great.
As long as it's on time.
But when was the last weekly event that you were like, that's really good?
52.
Right. Did you like Trinity?
No.
Trinity was fucking hot garbage.
Garbage.
Well, it was 52.
Before they were doing...
was great. Countdown.
What was
Trinity.
What was the newspaper one where we got it was a
Wednesday
newspaper
Comics?
Wednesday Comics? That wasn't weekly, though.
No.
Really?
That was fun anyway, though.
It
was fun.
Yeah. I liked when they switched to the two different bi-weekly books, like when they were doing Batman Eternal. I'm trying to remember what the other one was.
Batman and Robin Eternal.
Well, no, it was Batman Eternal, then Batman and Robin Eternal, but I think it was Batman and Future's End the first time.
Oh, Batman Eternal and Batman...
Well, no, it was...
Batman and Robin Eternal, yeah.
No, but one finished, then the other one started in terms of those. But they basically were doing the weekly books. They just did it like two different books that were bi-weekly. Because it was Batman Eternal and was it Future's End that was with that?
Yes.
I don't know.
There was, yes, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Like, for me, that's the last one that I really enjoyed was sort of the Batman Eternal when they were kind of doing that sort of thing.
I've only read the first two No Surrenders, but they've been great.
Yeah, I mean, it just started. I mean, it's selling more. Avengers had circle and drain for a while now, so it's good to actually get some hype about it. I mean, the second part sold out.
I'm checking out part one this week.
The second part sold out real fast. I bumped my orders for the rest. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I read part one the other day. I enjoyed it, but I'm waiting to see. It's like anything else. It's a weekly book where they've given me just enough to go, okay, I have no clue what's fucking going on yet. So I'm waiting to see a little bit more information before I fall in love or go, that's fucking stupid. Because I don't know.
So it's not like anything else because it's relatively unique. Because there's not a lot of weekly comics that are coming out.
Nothing right now.
But
that.
It's a
Phoenix
longer.
I'm just trying to read Charlie for saying it's like anything else.
That's only the one.
Yeah, but for me, it's like any other sort of first part story of a long running comic. Because I mean, this isn't going to be a handful of parts.
Oh, I totally agree.
Meaning it's got more of a I don't know what the fuck's going on than it has a like immediate hook that makes me go, holy crap, this is the event for me.
This is what was driving me crazy.
Other than the fact it's got Zub's name on it, and therefore I'm more invested.
11 out of 10. This is what drove me crazy when Higgins gave Mr. Miracle #1 best comic of the year. It's like, what the fuck even happened in issue #1? Like, yeah, it was great, but like, best comic of the year, issue #1, it was like chapter 1 of what the fuck is even happening here? But don't get in between Higgins and his DC books.
Issue 6.
By the time you get 6, woof.
I just can't wait till
it's been ramping the whole time. It wasn't like. didn't take until 6. It's been good all
every
along.
issue's been.
Yeah, incredible. But like 6 was different than.
I love 6. 6 was amazing.
6 was amazing.
But I do like the way you describe the issue 1 of what the fuck is happening here, because that describes so many comics.
Yeah. So many great comics. Well, also not good comics, but yeah, so many great comics. Chapter 1 just draws you in, but you're like, what the hell is even happening?
Our good friend Larry over at Larry's Comics, rep in Massachusetts, hometown. He asked a bunch of questions here, bunch of retailer questions. I can answer some of these. He says, "Are you seeing the Marvel turnaround that I'm seeing? Thanos, Avengers, Doctor Strange, Punisher are all back on fans' radar."
Oh my god, they're all so good. You just named a bunch of good books.
I mean, a bit. Punisher's
Defenders.
Punisher went up a bit.
I haven't read Defenders, and I've not been reading Punisher, but everything else you said, I've been reading.
Phoenix Resurrection.
Oh, incredible.
I mean, our numbers are still not...
very good. How about that?
Our numbers on these books are still not what I would consider great, but they are up, which is good. We're still a long way to hit anything close to DC on some of their bigger books. I joke, but literally Aquaman outsells almost every single Marvel comic here. That said,
how is that nationwide, that number, as opposed to your store?
I mean, it's not. I mean, a ton of Marvel stuff outsell. But I mean, Thanos, Doctor Strange, Punisher, those are not like top 25 or even 75 books. They're not selling well, but we are seeing a little uptick on all of them. Avengers especially. Doctor Strange has seen a little bit. Thanos hasn't really seen much, but we've started to sell out of issues, which is good. Punisher, a little bit, but our Punisher numbers are super low during the last arc, so anything up is good.
Superior Spider-Man's been awesome. Daredevil's been awesome.
Yeah, again, most of our Marvel books, the ones that we're going to be...
Superior? Superior Spider-Man? Huh?
No. You misheard me. I said spectacular. Everybody else heard me. You're hearing things. You're crazy. I'm not crazy. You're crazy.
That's okay. I admit I'm crazy. I prefer to be crazy.
You are batshit crazy.
The books that are more than likely going to be canceled are still not performing at all. All the rest of the books that are characters anyone cares about are trending upwards, which is good.
How good was Guardians 150? Did you read that?
I haven't read 150 yet. Yeah. Well, they canceled it. I mean, but it's going into that big event they're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Sign me up for that, by the way.
I can. One click on ComicHub. Boop.
It's actually many clicks on ComicHub.
It's one click.
And I have to type a bunch of keys.
No, I do it. One click.
So I just do all the work and then you click, yes, accept this douchebag's
I can
money.
go onto your account and say, add. He also says, do you think image books are not, or why do you think image books are not catching on like they used to? Is there too many indie publishers out there? Yeah, it's been a tough year for Image. It's funny, our numbers are actually up on Image, but I think it's a lot of graphic novels and less so the single issues. I can't get a new Image book to click to save my life. Everything's launching, and then issue 2 sells nothing. And that'll change with a few books. Oblivion Song, Kirkman's new book will obviously do pretty well.
Gideon Falls.
Gideon Falls looks like it's going to do pretty good.
I already signed up for that.
From an outside perspective, I kind of feel like too many number ones are selling to speculators.
Yeah.
Meaning the people who might actually pick up a couple issues when they're out can't get a hold of all the issues to give it a shot.
A couple years ago, I would have said yes. I actually feel like people now are just test driving those number ones and going for the trades down the road if they like them. I think a lot of people will pick up a number one and just be like, yeah, if I like it, I'll pick up the trade later.
Yeah, I did that with Port of Earth. Like, I read number one. I was like, I'll pick this up when it comes. Then I'm getting the
I'm
trade.
seeing that more regularly.
The trades don't come out because
nobody buys enough.
Nobody bought number 2.
Yeah.
Well, this is what a lot of the Image guys are talking about this now, where they're like, it's great that you like my comic. Please buy the single issues too. Even Image is starting to feel this because by the time the trade's out, if the series isn't selling, it's over, right? So this is the problem Marvel and DC had, but they can.
There's got to be like some sort of disruptive industry way to fix this. Like maybe have the first trade in the can and then release them, like maybe release number 1 along with the trade or something like that in the same week or something, and then release the floppies for the people that still want to pick up the floppies. I don't know. I'm just thinking that. Yeah, it's a tough problem that I don't know the answer. But I do the same thing. I test drive the. Oh, are you about to say that I have?
That's actually an interesting idea because so we got the first trade for Oblivion Song. The first 6 Robert Kirkman sent stores the trade paperback for a comic that has not been released yet. So he sent the first 6 issues completed
to the stores.
To the stores.
So you guys could read it and hype it up.
Yes. So I have the first 6 issues of Oblivion Song, and number 1 we haven't even put our final order in for it. It's not even out till next month.
Have you read it?
No, I haven't. It's sitting in my box. I haven't read it yet.
So you're going to let the people who are actually going to read it?
Yeah, it's been sitting here for 2 weeks. You guys can read it anytime you want.
I'm taking that tonight.
I like that idea. I actually really like that idea.
You're welcome. You can have it for free. Boom. Fist bump.
I really wonder if that would work. You release the first issue, and how would that work? You release the first issue 1 week, the trade the next week.
Yep. Yeah.
Then you release issues like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Exactly. I'm saying that I am a person, like a lot of people, that buy the first issue, like you said, to test drive it.
Yeah.
If I like it, I will buy the graphic novel, but I will wait 6 months because I'm not going to buy the floppies in between because who knows if it's going to come out 1 month later or 2 or 3 months
and
later.
The people that just want to buy the floppies, just buy the floppies.
So were you saying?
And
so were you saying?
My flip side of that is you buy the first issue, you wait 6 months, you forget all about it by the time the trade comes out. Like that's what happens to me a lot of times.
Exactly.
It just,
and more importantly, it doesn't sell, and so the trade never comes out.
Yeah. No.
So are you saying that probably you could go 1 month of 1, and then the next month the trade in number 2?
I'm saying I would just.
I think you do the next week or something like that.
I would just the next week I would pick up the trade. Even if it's a month later, I would get the trade. When I would come in to pick up number 2.
I would also try slashing the price of number 1, realizing that you have the trade out the next week.
Absolutely. Kill the speculator market, make it available for the people.
Yeah. That's a fascinating idea. I wonder if people would go for that. Because I think some people would.
I literally would.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I think some people would just be like, yeah, I'm fine grabbing the single issues because I don't want the trade, right? I mean,
some people prefer.
Some people love the floppies. I love floppies for Marvel books.
Fascinating idea. I'm gonna pitch that. I'm gonna pitch that to someone. That's a really good idea, Bryce.
You can have it. It's yours.
Yeah, I'm. That's a really interesting idea, and I wonder if someone would test that, if that would work. That's really caught me off guard. That's a really good idea.
Wow.
I think it would work initially for
even a clock's right. Even a clock is right twice a day.
Yeah,
broken clock. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with you?
Occasionally, a clock's right. Once.
I think
independent
books it would work.
My clock's wrong.
Right, of course.
Yeah. But not something like Doomsday Clock.
Right.
Or
no, but they don't need that reach to the market. And
well, I think it's the delay time, right? It's
the as you said, if you sit there going, I'll wait for the trade, by the time the trade comes out,
you could have forgotten about it, or
not to mention
they not release
a lot
it,
of
or
the
it's delayed.
Yeah.
No, I think that's
well, can we get on track?
A really good idea, even though it does require creators to have the faith enough in a book to get that much content.
That is one of the problems, right? Is that a lot of the guys, they're using the money from number 1 to pay for number 2, right? But that could, if the creators have the ability to get that much work to get the 6 issues done in advance.
But and the thing is, if as a retail store you're already getting this like the trade in advance because they're going to have it, it's easier to hype up. So you can literally advertise it as you can get the floppies and do this, or you can get the trade when it comes out, boom, at this time.
Yeah.
Isn't printing a trade
it's
more
much more
cost
expensive.
efficient than printing up 6?
Well, no, but again, the thing with printing up single issues is you make some profit with that, and the money goes to fund the trade paperback, and the trade paperback brings your profit, right? This wouldn't work for a guy starting out, but established creators, I could see that it's actually kind of working pretty well. People that have some sort of ability to get a bigger audience than just a random new image guy. That's a fascinating idea. Larry's got another question here. He says, do you think DC's New Age of Heroes has a chance to survive even beyond half a year? So this is Damage and Immortal Men and Terrifics and all the new DC books coming out.
Outside of Terrifics, my answer is no.
I think we talked about this briefly last week. There's a handful that I think, yes, will do pretty well. I think the majority of them are going to go 12 issues. They're going to have fill-in creators by issue 8 or 7 or 8, and they'll be canceled by 12. You know what? I love DC that when they're at their peak.
You do?
When they're at they got this high, so they're pushing these books. We sold a shitload of Damage. We sold out. DC sold out. I've had people signing up. I've bumped my numbers, but I feel like this is going to be short-lived. I hope I'm wrong. I'd love for them to just drop 8 new books of basically 8 new characters and have them all click. That'd be awesome. That's very tough to pull off. I think if they had 2 or 3, I'd be fine. I think they went too big.
I picked up Damaged and I read it. It was good. I enjoyed it. It was fine.
It was very light.
It wasn't anything grandiose or crazy or anything that's going to change the DCU, but it was fun.
I wonder if the attitude is partly because all of these are seen as ongoing books. If these were 8 mini-series and we're going to choose 3 of them to move to ongoing.
It's the Fables effect, right?
Yeah. DC's
first arc of Fables was a standalone story. Yeah. So we're always telling people, get the first 2, or, now you just buy the first one. But we used to tell people, get the first 2 trades because the first one doesn't really... It's that murder mystery story, right?
But that's not what these are going to be. I mean, these are spitting out of metal. These are big superhero characters.
Yeah, but the thing is, they didn't know if Fables was going to go anywhere. We don't know if Damage is going to go anywhere, right?
Well, but I'm just saying. But I mean, just like everything else, if it goes 6 months, that's a trade's worth of material. Mm-hmm. And
they'll go at least a year. I don't see any of these lasting short of a year.
And to me, even at a year, that's a good chunk of content that, as long as it basically is like in the New 52, iVampire is a good example of this, where even though it got canceled, it ended. It felt complete. Like, I didn't read that book and go, fuck. It just, it got
actually
wrapped up, true ending to the book. And as long as you plan things out appropriately and you go, okay, we're going to go at least a year. We're going to plan this story out that we could end it at a year if we want to. That means the trade sales can kind of pick up that strength, because it's really hard to push a trade on somebody when it goes, yeah, but that's it. And it doesn't really wrap up. It doesn't really finish what was being told, versus something like iVampire, where like it doesn't really hurt that book that it ended. Mm-hmm.
Ryan.
You.
So, Fortress of Comictude asked...
We're going to wrap up after this, too, because we got to do our random picks.
If you could put any creative team on any book, what would it be? And mine would be 1980s John Byrne writing or drawing with Tom King writing the Fantastic Four.
Oh, good lord.
Wait a minute. Are you... Like, my future self, that's reserved for Craig. That's my answer. How did you do that? What just happened?
Because because I loved John Byrne's art back in the day.
Yeah.
And I love Tom King's current writing.
Yeah, well, who doesn't?
And I want to see some Fantastic Four.
Oh, Fantastic Four. Oh, never mind.
You want him on the X-Men? Instead of Claremont.
I think that I've said before that I want Tom King and Rob
Jim
Liefeld
Lee.
doing a Cable book.
Trying to.
All right.
Yeah, I want Rob Liefeld. I don't even want... of course, Jim Lee is the easy answer, but he just wouldn't do justice to the ankles or the pouches. Or the shoulder pads.
Or the guns.
Or the guns.
Or the big arms.
And humongous arms.
Or the chins.
Arms thicker than a human torso.
So we've got...
good answer, guys.
Yeah.
Who are you going to thank?
Well, no, I'm having trouble figuring out, because Liefeld is the right answer for the art on a Cable book. I'm not going to go King, but I'm trying to figure out who would be the right writer for him.
I think Tom King could do some...
Ed
I mean, how
Brubaker?
about Chip Zdarsky?
Brubaker would be amazing.
Brubaker Cable?
Ooh, that would be good too.
That would be...
A Brubaker Liefeld Cable.
Yeah.
Well, couldn't
Yeah, that Wait. Stop reading people's minds.
Who is Epting that did the art with the cap art with him?
Who was
Is it Epting? So would you do Brubaker Epting on a Cable book?
That would be phenomenal. Even though there's a special place in my heart for Liefeld drawing Cable. So
true that.
Ryan's throw up in your mouth.
Ryan's not.
No,
only
he's
growing,
trying to think. He's trying to think.
No. We got random picks to do, baby. Random pick time. Let's do our random picks and get out of here.
All right,
we got to go.
Good talk.
Tom King, Jim Lee.
At the end of the year, Jesus. Although we had a bunch of weird episodes, long episodes, non-traditional episodes. I was trying to make this one a little shorter than normal, and that didn't go well. But we do have to do our random picks. It's been a little too long since we did our last one. I don't think this was a random pick of mine recently, and I was reminded over the weekend of how much I'm loving this book right now. So I did want to recommend the last couple arcs of Aquaman, the current DC Rebirth book. Man, I don't care what you think about Aquaman. I don't care what you think about Aquaman. These last 2 arcs you have got to pick up. Mm-hmm. They've taken Aquaman away from being kind of just a regular superhero comic and put him much more into a sort of Game of Thronesy sort of magic.
It's got the political stuff going in, the xenophobia, this whole. It was stuff that was building at the beginning of the Rebirth stuff, and now we are no longer on the surface dealing with. We are in the water basically.
Yes. It's Aquaman. Yeah, I hope you're in the water,
right?
Dan Abnett again. I liked his run of Aquaman up before these last couple arcs, but the last 2 have been friggin' incredible. Steven Sedgwick was the artist on the previous arc, who I think is doing the arc of his career. The new arc is by Riccardo Federici, who I'm not familiar with, but it's not the same as Sedgwick, but it feels like it fits so well. It's like this amazing fantasy style. Both of them have incredible styles that are fit in the story arc. And again, this isn't superhero Aquaman. This is like a fantasy
royalty.
This is like a fantasy Aquaman. Yeah. And they've tried this in the past and it never clicked. It clicked this time. It is the best Aquaman I think I've ever read. It's so good. Definitely pick up the last couple volumes of Aquaman if you haven't.
Oh, you got to give me a minute.
Broccoli beef.
Nah, give me a minute. Go, Bryce.
Okay, well, this is going to shock everybody, but since I already lauded the books that Higgins said earlier were picking up in numbers, which might have normally been my my random picks, what has not been mentioned by me in at least 6 days, is X-Men Gold. X-Men Gold. If you missed the X-Men, not worrying about Inhumans or drama in the Marvel Universe, and you just want to see the fucking X-Men go into outer space and just have an adventure with creatures from another planet and just be self-contained, and you missed that, well, X-Men Gold has got your back. The writing is good, the art is incredible. X-Men Gold is uncannily good.
Defenders, which I may have mentioned in the background earlier, but
you just caught up on the current arc, right?
Yeah, just caught up on the current arc. It's interesting. It's better than Marvel has been. It's part of the turnaround, I feel like, of the Marvel universe.
It's turning. Marvel's getting better.
It's turning.
From a couple months ago, heads and tails different. No, black and white difference.
Yep.
What's
180.
180. There you go. I'll take that. That's the best one.
So I'm going to pick 2 books I've caught up on recently.
Wait a minute. We get to do that?
No, not you.
I'm going to go with Titans because I was like 4 or 5 issues behind on that, and I managed to sit down and catch up. And
I'm still loving Titans.
Yeah. Great book. I love everything they've been sort of doing with sort of the betrayal, but not really a betrayal, to the sort of fallout with the Justice League in the last issue, and all that stuff has been really good. Now, I'm actually going to pick as the other book, X-Men Blue. Have you read that recently?
I have. It's good. It's just I had to pick one book, and X-Men Blue is, top 5, but it's not top 1.
The fact that they went from time jumping with the original X-Men to go visit the 2099 universe with the X-Men 2099, and now going to the past and going, well, we know we saw ourselves in the past, and it ends up being the future X-Men team from Bendis's run.
Yeah.
I'm much more engaged in that book than I was when it first started. Like,
I think it's been great throughout.
I kind of sat there and I went, no, X-Men Gold is like the clear winner to me when they launched both of those books. But I'm a little more excited right now for X-Men Blue when it comes out.
X-Men Blue is very, very good. Yeah, top 5.
Brock?
So I'm not going to say like a Tom King book or anything because they're all great, but I think actually people should go check out Superman number 39. Peter Tomasi does a nice, just kind of real superhero story with
Is
him.
most all the fake superhero stories they publish every month?
It's more of a real because it's like it's dealing with sick kids and giving them kind of Make-A-Wish Foundation thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, way to burn on my nice little review there
Made
because
a stupid comment.
So what, dude? But it was Tomasi's been doing an amazing job on Superman.
Oh yeah, that's been great.
But I really enjoyed it, like the kind of different pace and tone that we got from 39.
Some people hated his little like trip around the Washington D.C. and the memorial stuff. I thought those were okay. It was a little heavy-handed.
Well,
but,
yeah, the stuff with Jonathan.
Yeah, but I liked it.
That was fine.
This issue was more in line with that.
In line of that, but it's a nice breather from battling aliens and world threats and magical beings or whatever. This is a nice like.
They just got done with Apocalypse and they got done with the Super Sons crossover.
Yeah. To me, Superman actually works in some of those like heavy-handed stories every once in a while. Like you wouldn't want them every single month, but he's the perfect character to kind of highlight a better perspective occasionally.
Yeah. Well, like Straczynski did his grounded stuff.
That was not.
It was okay for a handful of them, but they just kept going with it. And I was like, it's okay to do this occasionally.
12 issues was a bit much.
But yeah, 12 issues was much.
All right, we're going to wrap up here. Thank you, everyone, for being on. Thank you for everyone that asked us questions. We still have there was a ton we couldn't get to. Too many questions. Sorry, guys. We'll get some of those next week. Don't forget all our good friends at Patreon. 2 weeks. Don't forget our good friends at patreon.com/comicconspiracy. It's where you can donate $1 a month to us through Patreon to help pay for hosting and give these guys some credit for picking up some comics and get us some pizza before the podcast, although we haven't done that much recently.
Yeah.
We'll start my pizza. We'll start pizza again soon.
You used to feed us, Higgins.
I can do it again.
Higgins is just swimming in his pile of money at home.
Yeah.
I found out his secret. I happened to leave work early today, and then I found out him and Brock eat early. And then when we come, they're like, "Oh no, there's no food. No food.
Occasionally we'll get food during the day. This time we're just like, we're gonna get food at night, and you were here, so I got you food.
Thank you.
But our good friends at Patreon, top tier backers, you have to thank Julian Titus at the Nerds Without Pants podcast at pixelbit.com. And I was on their last episode. I don't know when that goes live. It should be soon.
Goes live soon.
Is it now? I don't know when it is. Yes.
Did you have pants on?
I did wear pants. Yes, sweatpants, but I was wearing pants.
Sweatpants.
Yeah, my NES controller sweatpants. Thank you very much.
Oh God! And you going back and buying Nintendo Powers?
Oh man, I wish.
Here, I want to tell you something. I think I threw mine away.
I threw mine away too. Is Toby giving me the wrap-up signal?
Yes, 35.
What is happening?
Pixelbit.com. We recorded an episode of Top 5 Video Games of 2017, and half the games were not from 2017, so that was fun. Ryan Hess has Blowhards. It's another video game podcast. That's at blowhards.libsyn.com. Go check out Manoa Place. Go check out Jody Lawson's comics at Canon. The Triad Comics Anthology at TriadComicStudio.com, as well as our good friends, Manoa Place, Sam Che, Talon Bray, Craig Anderson, and Joe Duff. Thank you guys all very, very much. Appreciate all your support you give us every month, as well as everyone that donates. Patreon.com/ComicConspiracy. We'll get to all our backers next month, 2 weeks, week and a half, or something like that. ComicConspiracyPodcast.com, Geekbox.net, and iTunes is where you can find all our previous episodes. Rate and review us if you can. You can send those long-form questions over to The Comic Conspiracy, Geekbox.net. Go to digital.comicsconspiracy.biz to buy some digital comics from us. You can also go to customer.comichub.com to sign up for Comic Hub. Choose Comics Conspiracy as your store, and you can set up a physical subscription to Comics Conspiracy, mail order or pickup.
Mm-hmm. Are we still doing the $25?
What?
Mail orders for free shipping for?
Don't know. I gotta reevaluate. There's been more freight cost updates for 2018. So I gotta look at see what
have to bump that threshold up.
Gotta look and see what our total is going to be for that.
Okay.
Digital. Already did that. ConspiratorBrock.com. That's Brock's blog and video pull list. Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension. That's Charlie's Doctor Who podcast. And go to Etsy.com/shop/Leanne Hill Art. That is my wife's Etsy store. Although she's very busy with work, but she still does commissions and stuff like that through there. Join us all on Twitter. I'm Ryan Higgins Ryan. Brock is Brock Sager. Bryce is Larsen Bryce. Toby is Toby XI. Charlie is Insanity and Chaos. The store is Comics Con Store. And listen to the Geekbox, Comedy Button, and Manga Machinations, and the Infinite Binge podcast if you would like to listen to other people on our little podcast network. Thank you guys all very, very much. And I got to see what the hell Toby wants.
We'll see you next week for episode 342.
We'll see someone someday, something for something, somehow.